wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you all very much for joining us for our second week in this module. We're joined by Brother Uthman Al-Talib, who's like looking through the curtains for some reason. But he is the founder of Forerunners. He's a regular khatib here at Adam Center. You might have heard him. We've frequently done grounding sessions with him. And he's excellent for today's topic because it's going to be about finding yourself. Last week's topic was about finding your community. This week's topic is about finding yourself, and then last one is going to be about like aligning yourself with your career and your ambitions. They all fall under this category of like the reality realignment. Basically, making sure that you find yourself, making sure that you're where you're supposed to be, and then what you're supposed to do once you finally identify those things. Today we're going to be talking a lot about identity, inshallah, and basically choosing the identity that you want to be, building that identity up, and identifying what that identity is. So we're going to take a break at Maghrib, inshallah, which is going to be at 8:15, and then we're going to come back, finish the talk, and then we're going to do discussion questions. I'm very happy you could all join us. Without any further delay, Brother Uthman Al-Talib.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى ودعا إلى سنته إلى يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أما بعد. So my brother who will speak next week, inshallah, is the founder of Forerunners. I'm the founder of Rise. And so we're trying to combine the process of the journey. So you spoke with you heard from Dr. Lina last week about finding community. Today is to take that concept because communities are generally built around identities. You typically go and find the community that you identify most with because you yourself are that identity, or you're trying to be that thing, you're trying to embody it. So you're hanging out with, you come to Qahwa because you identify as Muslim, and you want to hear, even within that, there are sub-identities. Or you want to go to a sports club, so you identify as a person that plays basketball, or football, or soccer, or whatever. And so our identities are what shape the communities that we're attracted to, because we want to find other people that look like us and act like us and think like us in the same space as us. So that's why it's important as kind of this next evolution is to understand then what's our identity, so that we can put into context the community that we want to find, or we want to build, or we want to be part of, we want to grow. And so I'll start off with a simple question, inshallah, and I'll get your help. But we typically are asked, like, who are you, right? We ourselves ask ourselves, like, who am I? Like, really, behind all the facade, behind all of the kind of the glamour and the glitter and the you know, what we put externally, the faces that we put on, we typically, when we come home and we're alone and there's nobody around, the thoughts that go through our mind really are, who am I? Right? Like, what do I actually stand for? You know? So the question that I want to ask, and just I'll write down some of these answers. When somebody asks you, who are you? How do you answer that question? What do you say? So you're right in my face. So who are you? Isa, who are you?
I'm a Palestinian American Muslim, number one thing, obviously, and yeah, that's mainly a starting point.
Okay, good. Okay. Who are you? What's the answer? Who are you? And you're trying to do it. Who are you?
I'm a human, black. I'm a Muslim, a daughter. I'm an American.
Who else? Who are you? Who are you?
I'm a Pakistani Muslim.
Okay. Abu would be proud. Who are you? Let's need one more.
I'm an Indian American Muslim
All right, now you guys are all just following the same line.
daughter.
I'm saying when somebody asks you, they're not reading anything on the board. You're out in public. They're not even Muslims asking you. They say, hey, who are you? What do you say?
My name is Zainab.
Okay.
I'm
And Zainab, who are you? How do you describe yourself?
I'm a artsy car lover, nerd.
Nerd?
Yeah.
That's up.
Keep going, I guess. I don't know. All that.
Okay, one last one, not following the same paradigm, but when you are outside, how do you introduce yourself? Who are you? And like introduce yourself to people who actually you care, that matter.
I'm a writer, creative, photographer, empath, nature lover.
Okay, good. You guys just get okay. Okay, so it's interesting. It's very interesting to me that only one of you described a role. Only one of you described a role. Most of you described ethnicities. And, well, I guess half of you. And are, American, black, like a race, ethnicity. And then once we started saying, no, like, who are you? Then we started to identify, like, ourselves, our actual name, right? Me, my own self-definition. And then going into, like, adjectives of who you are, right? Descriptors of what you enjoy, what you like. Probably also the communities that you identify yourself to be part of. So being artsy, being a car lover, meaning you're probably part of magazines with cars coming. You come to the shows when Adams, the Qahwa does those car shows, right? And then nerd, I don't know. That's, is that a community in and of itself? No, I'm just kidding. And then we had like writers. So now we even go a bit deeper, right? Creative is much more cognitive now in nature. It's not just like a description, but it's actually how you think about the world, how you view the world. An empath, now you're looking at your emotions, how you feel about the world. And now nature lover is also how you feel about the world around you. So we got a little bit more descriptive as we went. So all of these start to define, they become circles of definition of who we are and how we view ourselves, right? And so I want to ask, why did you start with a Palestinian American Muslim? Why was that the first thing that came to your mind?
Honestly, it's just pretty surface level and easier to answer.
You just wanted to take the easy path. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Good job.
Yeah, like,
Definitely
yeah.
is. But if you thought about it a little bit more, you do feel though these are the identities that you would say
Like, is putting these first, are these in order of priority in your mind? Or are they more just what you've gotten used to saying as descriptors?
First of all, Muslim is a number one, and then second's like basically my background, and then probably just below that it is like my hobbies, and then like sort of after that it's like kind of takes a while to get there, but like stuff like your values and your roles and all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay.
So why did you say daughter? Why did that? Well, one actually. Why did you say human first? Why did you want to go kind of? Why did you want to go to that like atomic level?
I don't know. I don't know. It's simple. I feel like it's easy to relate.
But have you
to.
ever said that before, or just today?
Yeah, I just said it today.
Oh, you don't typically say, yeah, I am a human being.
Well,
Like, why do you feel comfortable in this seat, in this setting, to say human? Because it's the deeply philosophical, right? Like you're taking a stance here to say, I'm not even going to define myself by certain labels outside of I'm part of the humankind.
I mean, maybe I guess from like a religious standpoint, like that kind of puts us all in an
Okay.
even plane, so that connects us.
But do you feel like that was important to you because of this identity and what this identity has seen over centuries?
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too, is like, obviously I'm very proud of being Black, and I think that also like connects me to other people's experiences, and well, ultimately like being human first is what's most in my mind.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Why did you choose to say empath?
Why did that come to mind? Yeah, you described like first interest, then more the way your mind works, and then you went into like things that you enjoy doing, but then you went to empath. Now, the way you feel in the world.
I think as I heard other people kind of describe themselves, and I was going down the the passage of using descriptors, it made me think of where I am in the world today and how I empathize with people, so I decided to use the word empath.
Okay. Now, does this come with a certain weight to it? So if you're an empath, I assume then you feel people. You feel people's pain, you feel their excitement, you feel their joy, their sadness. Like, does that also bring into this distinction, this definition of like, I'm going to be present in this space with you as well, and I can feel you. I'm not just seeing you, but I'm feeling you as well.
Yes, I would definitely agree. In spaces like this where you do become more vulnerable and empathetic, people describe their stories and you have to have an understanding of just listening to them, understanding their feelings, and then seeing how you relate or connect to that.
So if you were, let's say if you were at work and somebody asked you the same question, would empath be on there?
In a work setting, it may not be the first word I think of, but internally, if someone were to ask me who I am, most likely.
Okay, so you see kind of where I'm going with these. I'm trying to see how, at what level we believe in these, right? Because identity, and I like enunciated the T's, identity is an extreme, it is the core of who we are, right? So there are psychological definitions, there are philosophical definitions of just like, at the most abstract level, how do you define yourself? So the self-definition. But then there's psychological definitions to it, and then there's also sociological, how we view ourselves and define ourselves in the context of others. Not just in the context of oneself, not in the context of one's epistemology, right, which is the most abstract level that we can think,
but rather in the moments, right? How do we define ourselves? For the reason that's important is because if you have gaps in this, and I'll tell you as somebody who grew up in the 9/11 era, there was a lot of conversations that we used to have about identity. Right now, it doesn't happen as much. There's like, nobody's really, because everybody's out there and bold and like, I am who I am and I'm willing to wear, you know, my Palestinian identity on my sleeve now. Like back then, it was not like that. You were afraid to show the deepest parts of yourself. Because if you did show them, you'd be attacked for it. You'd be hurt, you would be isolated, you would be ostracized. And so we grew up in a time where you actually had to hold your identities very close to the chest. So it was scary to sit and pray outside or to be openly, visibly Muslim. So many sisters out of fear took hijab off because it's identity. Men shave their beards, change their names from Osama to Sami and Muhammad to Mo, and we had to hide these things about us because it was scary to show that identity externally. And so, but what did that do? It creates a void inside of us. And that's what now we're kind of, for years, probably for decades, after 9/11, we had to reap the consequences as a Muslim community of hiding those identities. There started to be gaps and voids in our understanding of ourselves that now how we even show up in the world changed. There was trepidation, there was hesitation, there was fear, there was like, can I really think this way? Can I really be open on this table with these people? Can I say that? How are they going to view me? So we started to, the mindset of being openly Muslim, which happened before that, no longer existed, and now society is reaping the negative benefits of that because they're not getting the full effect of your identity and my identity, the core of it, if we view it that way, right? So that's why when I ask you, what's your identity, it does, even if you're not consciously saying them in an order, there is a subconscious prioritization of that identity. How I define myself, what comes to mind first. And so I like the human part because it took us to the ultimate asl, the ultimate basis of what we all are, beyond all identities, beyond all colors, genders, ideologies, thought processes. No matter what that, at the root of it, we're still human. But there's one level that's missing from that. And so what I was thinking you guys were going to give me, to be honest with you, was going to be a list of roles. So, you know, my sister, what's your name? Nostalgia? Nostalgia. Okay. She was the only one that gave me a role. Most of the time when I ask this question, like, who are you? It's like, hey, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a grandson. There are certain roles that come to mind. Oh, I work at this company, I have this title. That's why I asked the question, how would you have described yourself in a corporate setting? It'd be very different than the things that we put up here. It'd probably be like, well, I'm a senior this, and I've gotten this certificate, and I've done this, and so we start blurting out the accolades that we built. But are those truly identities? Is that how we define ourselves? So I thought we were going to go into roles, right? But if we don't go into roles, and we just take this, okay, I want to give you an example that happened to me last week. I just want to use it as a basis. And there's a video. Let's see if you guys can actually hear it. Because Allah chose me. And until Allah wants to limit me, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing the envelope. I'm going to keep thinking bigger. I'm going to keep thinking that as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to put in my path the ways for me to come closer and serve Him, I'm going to keep taking them. I will never hold back. And I promise you, if you live like that, you have all the tools to do amazing things. And I believe that with just like that guy crossing the finish line, and his kids running to him, and his family seeing now this version of himself. And then he went and did the second Ironman the next year, didn't even train for it. That's what happens when you do something, you break down the barrier. You break down the barrier to be like, man, this is nothing. Why was I so freaked out about this? Why was I so worried I couldn't do this? Now he's recruiting other guys. Oh, dude, come on, man, you can do this, you can do this. And we got 14 people to do it. You just got to break down the barrier. And everything else is around you, man. Everything else is around you, along that way. And so that was one of the main reasons that I believe there was so much potential in us as Muslims, that Allah knows about ourselves that we don't even know, that we were holding back. We were letting other people define our limits. But we don't have any limits until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides, you know what, it's time to give it to somebody else. So why not push the envelope? The second ayah that really inspires me for myself to always push to be better, never become complacent with where we're at, is إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. That everything that we want to see in this world change, we have to be that change itself. We have to look inside ourselves and say that actually the things we do in our dark rooms, those are actually the things that we see manifest outside of the world. What we choose to do and spend our time in, that is exactly what we're seeing happening around the world. And Allah is not going to change anything that's happening around us until we choose to take the responsibility and the hard path to change ourselves. Even though it hurts, even though it's painful, even though it's hard. It's hard to look in the mirror and say, man, I'm not living up to what I should be doing. I'm not doing the things that I should be doing. I shouldn't be watching that. I shouldn't be wasting my time scrolling on that. I shouldn't be talking to that person. I shouldn't be hanging out with that person. If we take the hard path of changing ourselves, then everything else around you, you'll start to see the dominoes fall and those things start to change. But we can't expect the world around us to be better if ourselves, when no one is looking, we choose to do something else. And it's a hard truth that we all have to just come to. Myself first and foremost.
Okay, so what did you guys get out of that? What's the summary?
Basically, you gotta be the change you want to see in the world.
Okay, good. What about the first part? What do you remember from the first part?
Don't put limits on yourself, and as long as Allah does not put limits on you, go achieve your highest potential and just don't stop until you've hit that limit.
Yeah, so the context before this is the short clip. The context before this was talking about the ayah that says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكُمْ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Right? It's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the angels, He basically announced our origination, our inception as human beings. And that we are going to be His Khalifas. We're going to be His representatives. So I was describing to them as an identity now. As an identity, if you identify yourself at the most atomic level as being a human being, well, where did that human being come from? Where did your story start? What's your purpose? What are you supposed to do? It all connects back to you being a Khalifa. The reason you were created, the reason I was created, was to be a Khalifa. Okay, what's a Khalifa? Well, I have to represent Allah. Well, what does that even mean? How is that an identity? So at the most basic level, that's what I was describing. Now, what happened after it? I got this message, text message. So this is a guy that I used to work with at Google. He's a German guy who lives in the US. Very successful in terms of career. He's worked at Bosch, Tesla, Rivian, took them public. He was a senior director there, mashallah. Now he's at Anduril. It's like AI weapons. So he's been following the trends of really good tech companies. Evil in our eyes, but whatever. But he's been chasing the money. Okay, this is what he texted me after I posted this video on LinkedIn because it was at a retreat. He's like, dude, what's up? Just saw this and was wondering, do you limit these thoughts to Muslims only? Or do you think besides religion, one can break down barriers? Like in other words, for someone like me who isn't Muslim, do I have to become Muslim and believe in Allah in order to break down barriers? Or what could I do? Stop for that. Okay, so again, let's let this sink in, right? White German, like pure German. I mean, when you talk, he's got the accent, he's got everything. Mashallah. It looks like a specimen, a German specimen. Do I have to be Muslim and believe in Allah in order to break down these barriers? The same thing you heard. You heard the same message. But something triggered in this guy's journey that's saying, I'm still not enough. I still haven't figured things out. I still need to break down mental barriers to reach another level. I always think I can reach so much more, but for some reason I don't. What prevents me? What prevents me from thinking bigger or achieving more? Is it because I'm not Muslim? I am not believing enough. I don't take enough risks. I'm not smart enough. I'm not tough enough. What is it? He's going through an identity crisis here because his whole career he's been chasing, and he's going through a purpose crisis, to be honest, which is going to be next week, inshallah. But this is what leads up to it. This inner crisis, this inner tension of who am I? Like, I know that there's something inside of me pulling me to do something better, bigger, more important. Money is not enough. Titles are not enough. The other definitions that I surround myself and I lay upon myself, they're not enough. What is it? Is it because I'm not believing? Is it because I'm not Muslim? So of course I told him, yeah, you got to be Muslim. That's the only way you're going to get there. But I wanted to show you this because the mindset that even non-Muslims have is also asking the same questions. Who am I? And what am I connecting myself to? What am I supposed to be doing? Who should I be surrounding myself with? Where should I be going? And all of these have to be answered by understanding the most innate identity that we have, which inshallah we'll talk about after we come back from Salah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. We'll reconvene inshallah after Salat al-Maghrib.
And that's
I know. But it's right in front of, I was like, during the year, this is the yeah, I know that. And I was like, yeah, we never, yeah. I know that. Why are you not here? Literally, I was like, you're not here though. What are you talking about? No, we need a burger house. How are you? Good. How are you? I always love brown.
It was actually really, really fun. It was really fun. It was just like a stress.
Oh, yeah. Like double home. I mean, I skipped on Saturday. Yeah, you were telling me I remember you were having a
So I was looking at it, but who's the hero was
it's not always hot. Like, me too.
That's very cool.
That's good. Yeah. Murder Beach. I think we're gonna go. But yeah, I was like,
Save the game.
I don't wanna kill the sleeping.
Don't feel pressure. Take care of yourself. Sleep is important.
That's like 9:30.
Yeah. Just hang in there. Almost there. Another hour.
How far is
I was literally gonna ask you the same thing. It's like 20 to 25 minutes. Yeah. Okay. I could probably do the same if I take the. But I decided to be cheap today. Yeah. Luckily, I hit almost no red lights. Yeah. It's like, it's a treat. How's work going?
It's good. I was thinking about work and whether I should plan on like looking for other positions.
Yeah.
It's going well.
Kind of wild. Luckily, I wasn't affected. But yeah, you're just going through major restructuring.
That's hard on the general environment as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone's feeling it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm grateful it didn't affect me, but it hasn't gone in. Especially it's the fourth one they did in the last 2.5 years. Yeah.
Why do you need so many?
It's, I don't know. It's like, I mean, why do companies typically do it? I feel like, I mean, it's like 2000. Yeah. I mean, I survived this long. What are you doing right now? I know you're doing something like
Yeah, basically like
okay. Are you looking to do the same somewhere else?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it. I have to think about that because I haven't seriously started applying and stuff. Yeah, it would be a similar field, but not the exact same thing.
Got it. What are you doing Wednesday night?
Wednesday, not much. But
I'm hosting a networking social event in Tyson's. High school social in Tyson's Borough. So I'll send you details. I know you're a bit far out, but swing it. I have over 70 people RSVP.
no way.
Yeah.
So you basically organize that like you're
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I actually, so I collab with an organization called Professionals. Yeah.
That's the name. Okay.
Yeah. It's literally, it's like hashtag professionals. It's just like, they have a Slack. So they kind of advertise it out there. So I got links to that. Yeah, it's going to be the first time I'm doing it, so it's probably a good turnout.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's not easy to bring people together like that. Wednesday, okay.
I'll send you the info, and if you can do it, it's great.
What time?
6 to 8.
It's weird. I feel like I have to like sleep more and like eat better because I'm commuting so far. Like sleep really underrated.
Sleep? Yeah, sleep. That's been top of my mind lately. So my wife is a bit of a night owl, and I got to like sleep boundaries, so I got to go to sleep at 10. Like,
All right, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We are going to resume the talk and then we'll end with discussions, inshallah.
Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabiyyina wa habibina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Okay, so this is where we ended. What did you guys walk away with? Just kind of summarize to just bring us back into what did we discuss in the first half of this? You could just shout it out.
Representatives of Allah.
Okay, representing Allah, good.
Our identities, how we identify ourselves.
How we identify ourselves. Yeah, you Pakistani, bro.
Don't put yourself in a box.
Don't put yourself in a box, okay?
Break down barriers.
Break down barriers. Okay, good. So what did all of this stuff mean? What were these? Do you define these as identities? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Maybe so?
They're aspects of our identity.
Okay, aspects. So like sub-identities.
Yeah, it's like you're not just one thing.
Okay.
You can define your identity in two different lenses.
Okay, so do you feel like if you have multiple, if it's multifaceted, does it create a tension internally? If there's not one that really like aligns all of them?
Yes, so you have to have a central identity for us as Muslims, but that I feel like that's the core of it. But then you have the next level down is where you can.
Okay, so let's get to that. So why do you feel this friend texted me this? What do you think he's feeling in this moment? What can you glean from his message? What's popping out at you?
Vulnerability.
Okay, he's being vulnerable. About what though? He was assessing himself by his successes, and now he's assessing himself by the struggle that he's feeling.
There may be clashes within the identity he defines himself by.
Okay, there might be clashes within the identities that up to this point he has been using to define himself. Excellent, okay? So there's like an internal struggle that's happening at this point. You can almost like feel it off the page, right? And the conversation continued to go. But that's, how many of us feel the same way? Like taking the Muslim part out, but maybe even keeping it in, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, how many of us feel like, am I not even being a good enough Muslim to get to this point? Like, am I like, what's been happening in my life to not make me feel like I don't have any limits? Do any of us feel that way? Okay. So why do you, what would you define as being kind of the center of that in your own struggle? Because last week we spoke about the struggle that then creates communities. Now it's the struggle that creates these identities. So what does that struggle look like? If one of you wants to be vulnerable about it. You want to use the mic?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I think the struggle is like that deen dunya struggle, like constantly, because like I want to be successful in my career, but also a good Muslim. I want to chase paper, but I also want to have a palace in Jannah. So constantly like the oscillating between the two and finding that happy medium. I feel like I struggle with that on like a daily basis almost.
So do you see that as like
Are there identities at work there? Like, what would be the identity of the junior? Like, I want the paper. What is that identity?
The hustler.
The hustler.
Yeah. The go-getter, right? The boss bee, right? Like, you know, like, yeah, I want to be like that powerful, like, woman that walks into a room and commands the attention and gets work done, right? You know, so all of that, like being the hustler.
But then you feel at the same time wanting that, is that going to take the palace away in Jannah? Is that going to take...
It might like downgrade me from a palace to an apartment, right? Like, I want the palace, I don't want the apartment. Like, you know, I want to be like blinged up in the palace. But then I also have to find that balance of like, okay, like, yeah, I'm being a hustler, but that money that I'm making as a hustler, let's donate it to Adams. Let's make a masjid with that. Let's do sadaqah jariyah with that, right? Like, use that paper in the right way, not in the wrong way. Like, yeah, I can buy the nice car, I can buy the Porsche, right? But then let's go help an orphanage in Pakistan also. So
do you feel like you won't go in that journey of making that money? Is there ever a fear or a thought that crosses your mind to say, will I still be whole at the end of that journey?
100%, yeah, because like you see the paper, right, and you see your bank account like flood with like more and more money, and then naturally you get jaded, and you're like, wait, like, you know, am I really like, am I sincere in my intentions, right? Like now that I have the money to like go build a masjid, am I being sincere, or am I doing it for the flex that I can afford to do that or something, you know? So then you kind of have to question yourself, like, right? Like, are my intentions pure? Am I doing it for the right reasons, right? So that's like the oscillation that I go through.
How many people, does that resonate with you? Is that the younger crowd, like, I want to make that money? Okay. Yeah, I mean, those are deeply internal struggles, because nobody really sees that. Everybody only sees what's going on the outside. Like, man, you got this, you got everything set for you, but inside you're like, oh my God, this could be a mountain that's sitting on top of you, because like if I didn't do it in the right way, I may lose the akhirah, which is more important. So it's a constant struggle. Okay, so how do we make those? So going back to the video that I was showing, I started with the most ultimate identity I believe we should have, okay? And the reason for that is because I believe it actually is the identity that combines all identities and all sub-identities. So if we look at it in these terms, right? We all have roles, we all have these like sub kind of concept themes, interests, communities, whatever. But if you put under how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started everything off by saying, I'm even telling the angels, I'm going to create on earth this trustee, right? This representative. And so at the top here, this is like that pan-ultimate definition of who we are, because what gave this life was Allah literally breathing into Adam his soul, which is what took us from being just a body, just fashioned and created with clay, laying dead, nothing in it, to then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nafakha fihi min ruhi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then blew into us that soul. And the soul now, in combination with that body, became something. It became alive. It became an entity within itself. And that entity, he then called it a Khalifa. So even before like the ayat that we heard here about وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, because most of the time people say, well, my purpose on earth is to only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, but guess what? Worship is not a differentiating factor. Why? Because all of Allah's creation worships Him, actually, طَوْعًا and karha. By force and by mandatory essence, they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels themselves, and this is why they asked Allah the question, like, well, hold on, why do you create? What's the point of this creation? We're the ones that نُقَدِّسُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. We are worshiping you constantly. لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. They never disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They never go against not worshiping Allah. So ibadah being the objective of why Allah puts creation on earth is not actually the objective. The objective is He's looking for a trustee. He's looking for a representative. You can't be a representative and a trustee if you don't think for yourself. If you blindly follow, you can't be that. You're just a follower. You're not a representative. And so He created this creation, which is our Father, and He said, okay, now prostrate to Him. He's going to represent me. Why? أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ? Are you going to create this creation that now has a choice to worship you or not worship you? They also have a choice to do wrong things. They can make really bad choices that spread corruption, they spread blood. إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Then now the secrets of Allah's wisdom come out. But what's the next step that He did after that? After He's saying, no, hold on, now let me show you why these are so important. The first thing that He did, عَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. He taught Adam all of the names. Meaning He taught him how to live among creation now by understanding how to speak, how to learn, how to observe, how to put things in categories. He taught him how to be self-sufficient. So He taught him the names. So then He asked the angels, tell me the names. Do you know the names of things? وَقَالُوا سُبْحَانَكَ لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِلَّا مَا عَلَّمْتَنَا. They're like, no, oh perfect Allah, we don't have any knowledge except knowledge that you've taught us. Meaning He didn't teach them the asma. He didn't teach them what He taught His Khalifa. You and I, by proxy, were taught something not even the angels in His closest proximity were ever taught. So we're students of Allah. But then what did He tell Adam alayhi salam to do? أَنْبِئْهُمْ بِأَسْمَائِهِمْ. We then became teachers. We then started to teach. Adam alayhi salam taught the angels the names to all things. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked them, now do you see why I chose this creation? Now do you see why I chose this creation to be my representative? And they submitted to it. So He said, Usjudu li Adama. Now you prostrate to Him. Not out of worship, out of honor. Out of honor, out of respect, out of nobility, because Allah taught Adam and Adam taught them. And now they saw and they witnessed this majestic triangle of knowledge that happened because we're fulfilling our roles as Khalifas. That becomes the identity. Now how do we live through this? It's ibadah. We have to worship Allah, right? This is the fear, is that, well, if we're chasing the money, we're chasing the fame, we're chasing the notoriety and the likes and the clicks we may lose ourselves. What are we choosing over our ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are we worshiping ourselves, or are we worshiping and forgetting the role that we were put here to do? The identity that we have that connects us back to Allah. And so what I was trying to tell these young guys was, when we live up to this and we understand we're trustees of Allah, He wants us to be successful. He sat with His angels and He said, let me teach you why this creation is so important. The only reason He would do that is if He sees something, if He's created something so beautiful within us that not even we know it ourselves. But He knows that we can reach those levels where we start to ascend beyond the angels themselves. And the perfect manifestation of this is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where even Jibreel alayhi salam, this is Ruh al-Qudus. This is the right hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the Holy Spirit. Even He said at Sidratul Muntaha, at the furthest level of Jannah, the highest level, where the only barrier between every other creation and Allah exists, only the Prophet ﷺ was able to pass through it. And Jibreel is like, this is as far as I can go, because you're the Khalifa. You're the trustee of Allah. Not me, I'm His angel. I do as I'm told. You do because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the choice to do. You represent Him because He gave you the choice to represent Him. And that ascends far beyond the angels themselves. And so when we lock onto that identity, then all of these other sub-identities, as a father, am I being a trustee of Allah if I'm beating my children? If I'm yelling at my children? If I don't connect with my children? If with my wife, I don't listen to her, I don't give her attention and love and tenderness and mawadda and rahmah? Am I a trustee of Allah who's told me these are the things that are necessary to build relationships that connect you back to Allah? No, so I start to lose my core self. And these competing identities of being a boss woman, of being the big man, like the big shot, the most known person, the head CEO, those identities start to compete with this one if I let them. And they start to overtake this role, this identity. And what happens is this starts to happen. This internal struggle where we stop knowing who we are. We're like, I'm still not reaching the level that I know I can reach. There's something pulling us. إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. There's something pulling us to Allah, and yet we still can't reach it because we're choosing other sub-identities to control our drive and our attention and our motion. And they're not taking us to Allah. They're not taking us to be better representatives. They're taking us to our perennial enemy who said, well, hold on. Allah, why did you choose this creation to be your Khalifa? That was the biggest argument that Shaitan had, right? Iblis, the biggest thing that frustrated him was he's looking at us, he's looking at our father, and he's like, this guy is made out of clay, out of dirt, out of nothing. أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْ. I'm better than him. I'm fire. Look how amazing I am. And he's just clay. Why would you choose him over me to be your Khalifa? That's it. You and I, all of these whispers that happen constantly, that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not worthy enough, you'll never be that you think you are, you'll never come closer to Allah, you don't have the right intentions, you can't worship Allah in the way He should be worshipped. All of those thoughts that are flowing through our heads every single second of the day is because the Shaitan doesn't want us to believe we are the Khalifas of Allah. He wants us to think we're unworthy. He's better than us. That's why he asked Allah. He said, Ya Allah, Rabbi anzirni ila yawmi yub'athun. Ya Allah, give me a little bit of time. Let me just show you. Let me try to prove to you these guys are not as good as you think they are. I can get them. I can come from above them, from in front of them, from behind them, from their right, from their left, beneath them. I'll surround them. I'll encompass them. And then I'll show you that they don't care about you. They're not good enough. They're not, you chose them over me. Look at them. I got them to worship me. Look at what they're chasing. Look at how they're not praying. Look at how they're evil to their families. Look at how they're stealing from other people. They're killing them. They're murdering them. Look at what's happening in Palestine. Look what I got them to do because they started to worship me, not you. And you still wanted to choose them as a Khalifa? He's trying to prove Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrong about you and me. The only way to fight this shaitan rajim, this cursed Iblis, is to actually live up to our core identity of being Khalifas of Allah. It's the only way. That's the only way you get back at him. That's the only way you frustrate him. Every single time you say Allahu Akbar, he runs away. But how many times do we say it? How many times do we collectively actually say Allahu Akbar with presence? Knowing that we are standing in front of the Lord of all of the worlds, the creator of all things. Laysa kamithlihi shay', nothing is like him, nothing before him, nothing after him. How many times do we say Allahu Akbar and we're there? We know who we're standing before. Not that often. And that's when the shaitan looks at us and says, yep, I got them. I got them right where I want them. And so brothers and sisters, what I'm trying to say to you is don't let the sub-identities that this world on purpose wants us to focus on. Everything has been created to push us towards looking at these sub-identities to be our real identity. But what we get is this, where even a non-Muslim can recognize, is it because I'm not Muslim? Do I not believe enough? Am I not believing in Allah enough for me to break down this barrier where the shaitan has told me I'm still not good enough, I'm still not smart enough, I'm still not strong enough? The only way to break it down is to align to this. This is the ultimate identity that now aligns every other identity. Because now you ask the right questions. That I'm a Muslim man living in this country as an American, as an Iraqi, as a father, as a husband, as a son, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as boom, boom, boom. I can hit every single sub-identity and say all of them can only come together if I'm truly representing Allah. If I'm truly being a trustee of Allah. And asking that means you're putting Allah first. And once you do that, what you see is the world around you changes. That's the thing. We're so limited because we actually haven't fully bought into this idea that Allah is enough. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is very much enough and more than sufficient for us to see what we want to see out of this world. Where you get the akhirah, but you didn't sell it for the dunya. You use the dunya to actually up-level you in the akhirah. And so that's this perennial battle that all of us have inside of us. Every single day, this is what we're fighting to do. But if we don't know what our core identity is, and if we don't understand and ask ourselves, am I being a trustee of Allah today? Did I really fulfill that identity? Did I let the other identities pull me away from that? If we don't ask those consciously, then we drift. And we drift further and further and further away. And the person that's laughing, the being that's laughing at us when we do that is the shaitan. Because now he's proving his entire point. I got him. This is what I tell my kids. Sometimes the shaitan is just sitting there and he's roasting us with his army of like, yeah, look, I got them. They didn't get up today. Oh, they didn't leave the bed. Oh, got them. That pillow was nice. Who was it? Google probably suggested that pillow to be bought on Amazon now, and that pillow was so comfortable, I got him to sleep a little bit longer. Yes. May Allah have la'na on these corporate. But that's what's happening. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us to truly understand that the core of our essence, as people as we are souls from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He has grown into the human being. And that our role on this earth is to represent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best way possible. And the only way to do that is by finding worship in every act that we do. And you can't do that if you're not conscious about it. The moment you lose that consciousness, that taqwa, then the shaitan, that's why libasul taqwa dhalika khair. It's libasul taqwa. What happened to our mother and father when he whispered to them and he said, hey, you want to live forever? Think about the proximity of our parents to Allah. He told them, you have Jannah, you have everything, just don't eat from the tree. The shaitan whispered, he's like, if you eat from it, you're going to be eternal. You'll live forever. Mulkin la yabla. And you'll have all of the dominion, all of the money, all of the wealth you want. And so they ate from it. And they're right there. Allah's right there. So Allah says that what happened? They became naked. They lost the covering of taqwa. So the only thing that keeps us going to be conscious is having this covering, this garment of taqwa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the muttaqeen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for our shortcomings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use you all, inshallah, to be the best of trustees, to really go out in this world and bring people who are searching for it. Wallahi al-azim, there are so many good people in this world. They're searching, there's something happening inside of them that they're just waiting for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send them a sign, send them a person, maybe send them you. But if you are not a trustee of Allah, how do they see Allah through you? How will they see Allah through us? And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us worthy of that. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. We'll do a discussion. You want just questions?
Yeah, well, we have the questions, but first we're gonna ask everyone.
I'm saying if they have questions.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Or any comments or whatever.
I think like 5 minutes, so we can take in 2 or 3 questions at most.
Arguments, debates,
Push back,
contradictory.
whatever you want to do.
So,
Yeah, I think we agree.
I think the biggest challenge that I have, and perhaps a lot of people here would also agree, is that the tension between recognizing ourselves as a Khalifa, having a taqwa, but then also giving into the whispers of the shaitan. I find it challenging. Like I think it's a daily struggle. But what advice would you give to constantly have that taqwa, like keep it in the forefront, especially when we're at work and something bad happens and it makes us upset, or we're getting distracted by scrolling on our phones and we're not where we should be pursuing our purpose or the work that we're meant to be doing. Like, how do we, on a practical day-to-day basis, keep that taqwa at the forefront of our mind?
The number one mechanism the shaitan uses to not get us to be aware of that is distractions. That's because it's easy. So the point is not perfection. Allah does not expect perfection. If He did, He would have just put angels. And we have many hadith, we have even ayat in the Quran that said if I wanted to have the earth filled with angels that would not disobey me, I would have done so. But He put us here, right? Knowing that we're going to be flawed. And because of that, كل ابن آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون, right? All of the children of Adam make mistakes. And the best of those who make mistakes are the ones who return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the goal and objective that we should have on a daily basis is not perfection. It's actually awareness. If we're conscious of the times that our nufus, our egos, our inner selves tell us to go and do this action that we know takes us away from Allah, the awareness and recognition that that's happening is sufficient for you to now come back and say, Ya Allah, forgive me for that. I messed up. Ya Allah, I ask you for your tawbah, right? Because Allah is going to make the tawbah easy for you. It's not us that are actually coming up with the tawbah. Allah creates that mechanism for us to tube ilayh. So, but we can't do that if we're so distracted. The way we get distracted is these phones, is technology, is watching and Netflixing, and I speak to myself on this. The distraction of getting ourselves to consume is the number one way that shaitan does not allow us to even return back to Allah, to seek His forgiveness, right? So I would say the first step is just practicing being conscious through the day and just recognize, I just doom scrolled for like 30 minutes. Just recognize that, because the next act after recognition is, Allah, forgive me for that. I'm weak. Return me back to you, Ya Allah. Protect me from that next time. Just that act in and of itself, وَإِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ ذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ. Allah is not, the muttaqeen are the ones that when they do a fahisha, like a major sin, the first thing they do is dhakarullah. They remember Allah, meaning that conscientiousness is embedded in our daily lives, because Allah does not expect perfection, He expects recognition. Dhakarullah fastaghfaru lidunubihim. And then we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His forgiveness and to help us to not go back to it. We don't want to go back to it. Wallahi, we don't want to go back. So I would say let's take it easy on ourselves to sit and expect perfection. Understand that distraction is the way that the shaitan deludes us and gets us to be to forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your job is to just remember. Just remember in the moment. Even when you're doing the mistake, in the moment, remember, I I know I'm doing this. I know I shouldn't be doing. Oh, Allah, help me in this moment. Even if you did it, you say that, you've just taken a step of growth that you don't even know you've taken. That's the difference. That would be my suggestion. That's what I do for myself.
I think we'll have to do questions now. We're on time.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Brother Uthman al-Talib. You can give him a round of applause. And now we're going to move into the discussion circles. So if you could all, I guess, flip your chairs and kind of arrange them in circles. I hope you've done this before. We make 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and then you guys can be the final group.
Where did everyone go, dude? I swear we were like full before. I came from the Fairfax. Now, is that working? Dolly, why are you? Always. Okay, you said bro? So, how's it Sam doing? Doing alright?
Alright, Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to quickly run through our community guidelines. If this is your first time here in public, we use these to facilitate healthy, productive, and safe discussion groups. Normally I would interact with you more to really, get the conversation going, but we're short on time, so I'm just gonna roll through these as fast as I can. First, we have step up, step back. That means that don't be shy to share. Basically, step up, and then once you share, step back, because we don't want any one person to dominate the conversation. Everybody should be able to contribute. Then we have campground rules. Pretty simple. Please just help us clean up afterwards. Leave the area cleaner than how you found it. We have maintain the amana. If somebody says a story in the circle that's very private, that they would not want you to share elsewhere, please recognize that and don't share it elsewhere. What happens here should stay here. We have old friends. If there's people in your circle that you don't know, talk to them like